Hey everyone, the big Arc Raiders Riven Tides update just launched, and with it brought a lot of new changes to the game. We got a new map, we got a new arc, we got some new items, all to accompany the title update. But there is one big change that has both PvE and PvP players frustrated right now, and that's the weapon economy adjustments. So we're going to go over everything that changed and why everyone's mad about it. So here's what the devs are saying. The weapon economy has increasingly started looking more and more unbalanced, where players engaging in heavy PvP have to make a lot of difficult decisions around their weapons, while the most friendly players have ended up in a chronic state of weapon accumulation. We want to balance this out so that all players are challenged by weapon attrition, as well as introducing new ways to combat it. So what does that mean? Basically, PvP players are dying a ton and losing a lot of gear and weapons too much, and they want them to feel less gun-starved during their experience, and PvE players are not dying much at all and have so much gear and weapons that they're endlessly playing inventory management, and thus they would like to have PvE players a little bit more gun-starved. Hence the emphasis on their last statement there. We want to balance this out so that all players are challenged by weapon attrition. Okay, so let's talk about the changes. And the first change is basically a buff, actually, and it's the new feature repair on upgrade. Weapon upgrading becomes very expensive when you feel like you have to repair the weapon beforehand, making it less accessible than we would like. To give more ways to repair low durability weapons and alleviate the upgrade loop, upgrading weapons will now repair 25% of the weapon's max durability. So basically, you find a weapon on the ground that's 25 out of 100 and it's a level 1 Berletta or whatever. You upgrade that to a Berletta 4, and with that upgrading, your durability will basically be maxed out as well. So you don't have to spend the resources to repair it first and then do the upgrade. So that's nice. However, it's not the biggest deal in the world, right? Because upgrading a level 1 Berletta is like 2 simple gun parts and 2 mechanical components, very low cost. So yeah, you're gaining a tiny bit there, but you know, and this is a nice little improvement, but it's not a huge difference maker as far as saving a humongous amount of materials or anything. But this is a nice little upgrade, I won't lie. Next up, we've got weapon drop and durability. So this is another change. We're reducing weapon spawns around the outskirts of the map to increase value and tension of higher tier areas and locked rooms. We're also increasing the range of durability a weapon can spawn with, as well as reducing the average outside of locked rooms. This should easily be recouped by the new repair on upgrade mechanics. So the average durability on spawned weapons has dropped from 50 down to 30. And you're going to find it harder to find weapons on the outskirts. And the ones that you do find, they are going to have a much lower difficulty. So we've seen this already. I find a brand new Berletta in a box. It's not brand new, is it? It's 15. It's literally redlining. So it's already showing that it's like about to break. And it's going to get even worse when you hear about the next stage of these changes here. But I kind of like the idea of making weapons feel more exciting when you're finding them, and understanding that the value behind the weapons is really, really there. Not only will you use it potentially, but you might value its recycled components even more, knowing what's about to happen next, which we'll go over here in a second. But I kind of like the idea of increasing the durability and the value of the guns that are in the locked rooms, but it is kind of a slap in the face to find a weapon and be like, oh, cool, a weapon. And it's like, wait, it's a Berletta 1 and it's 13 out of 100. Now, again, that can't be counteracted by upgrading it, because you're getting that durability moved up 25% on each upgrade. So you're pretty much getting to, 100 out of 100 on your Berletta if you level it up all the way when you get back home. But it's still, when I loot that Berletta and I see that red symbol saying that it's about to break, it almost feels like a troll. But I sort of understand what they're doing there. But the next change is the big one. And this is the one that's got everyone frustrated. And honestly, there's pretty much not going to be a single player that plays Arc Raiders that's going to actually like this change. I mean, there might be a few here and there that kind of like the idea of what's being presented here. But whether you're a PvE player or a PvP player, this is a massive hit to your gaming experience. And so here it is. Weapon durability loss on shot. So that's every single time you fire your gun, how much durability is lost to the gun. We've heard a clear frustration that maintaining high tier weapons is very expensive compared to the lower tier ones. We want higher tier weapons to have more longevity compared to low tier weapons. So we're adjusting durability loss on shot to match this. Okay. So on paper, I'm cool with that, right? You want to make it so that the pink and the golden guns last a little bit longer because they're, they were so much more expensive to craft or whatever, to upgrade. That's great. I like that, right? But what they don't tell you in that little paragraph is what they're doing to common, uncommon, and rare weapons. So uncommon weapons are having a 75% durability loss on shot. Green weapons, 50% durability loss on shot. Rare weapons, 35%. You're getting 5% buff for epic weapons and 10% buff for legendaries. So the way I look at this and I see the epics and the legendaries getting a little baby buff, and I'm seeing the blues and the greens and the whites getting monumentally nerfed. So it doesn't really align well with the paragraph above, in my opinion, as far as their reasonings for this. But yeah, I mean, those durability losses on the white, green, and blue guns are pretty dramatic. There's no doubt about it. And regardless of how you play the game, it's going to affect you. And I do understand what they're saying. Like, the original kind of statement that they opened with was creating a little bit more balance as far as attrition of weapons goes for the two polar opposite playstyles, PvE and PvP. It's going to be extremely difficult to try and create balance for that, but I don't know if this is the way necessarily. I mean, this could be a part of it. Like, I could see this having, being something that they look at, but I feel like they might have overheated a little bit with the percentages here. Like, I could see them saying, okay, let's do maybe the common weapons 50% durability loss, uncommon 35%, and maybe the rare weapons are like 12% durability loss on shot. If they were going to go down this road, this seems like really dramatic in the percentages here. And we're going to touch back on this in just a second, but I want to get to the final change that was made to weapon durability, and that is the weapon durability loss on being knocked out. So we want heavy PvP to be a viable way to play Arc Raiders and to align this playstyle with other ways to play. We're reducing durability loss on weapons when a player is knocked out by 50%. Durability loss on weapons of a knocked player is 30% durability previously, and now down to 15% durability. So it is a 15% net gain of durability if you're looting a player's gun that they had equipped in their primary slots. So I feel like the whole point is to try and bring up the PvP players' weapon counts as far as durability goes, right? And bring down the PvE players' weapon counts and attrition as far as durability goes. Because this is all about weapon durability at the end of the day. But I don't feel like 15% here of a difference is going to have this dramatic effect when the PvP players are firing their guns too, right? Now, they may not be firing it quite as much as a PvE player, but they're going to be firing their guns a lot. It's not like the Arc ignore PvP players, right? So you're still going to have a 35% durability loss on your rare weapon, right? When you're a PvP player, I'm running around with my Kanto that's level 4 and I unload a mag. That one mag is like 5 durability, just like that in one mag. So I don't know how I feel entirely about this. I mean, obviously that's better if you're a PvP player, but when you're adding this other durability thing happening with the rare and uncommons and common weapons, it's almost like a wash. And if it's a wash, it's not actually bringing weapon attrition up for PvP players, right? In my opinion, at least that's how I kind of foresee this happening, right? It's almost like this 15% durability gain for knocked out players is kind of just like, counterbalancing the dramatic durability loss that we talked about with the guns. Versus, I mean, I just don't see it really raising up weapon attrition for PvP players. If it was me, and you really want to raise that up for PvP players, just make it be 0. Make durability loss when you get knocked 0%. There's no change whatsoever. If you really, really want to raise the bar for PvP weapon attrition. And that, I mean, to me, that makes the most sense. So those are all of the changes, and you can see why everyone's a little bit frustrated by it. I do agree at the end of the day with the general idea of creating a better balance of weapon attrition between PvP and PvE. just like they said in the opening paragraph. But I'm not sure about the huge changes to the burn rates and sort of the way that they got there. Like I said, I would cut those new durability burn rates in half personally, and I would make it 0% durability loss from knocked players. I'd start right there. That seems like it would create a more level balance. PvE players aren't going to be punished as much, and PvP players are going to have a little bit more of a benefit after getting a knocked player's gun. So that's it. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this big change. Let me know in the comments down below how this change is affecting you and what your typical playstyle is, because I think it's important to know the both. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.